Let's add complex numbers. Now, before we jump into the adding, let's just recall what a complex number is. So a complex number in standard form is generally in the form of a plus bi, where a represents the real part and the bi represents the imaginary part. And it's imaginary because it includes our friend I. So recall that I is the same as the square root of -1. So in this particular a plus bi, a and b are both going to be kind of general numbers, and then I is our imaginary piece. So we always put the real part first, the imaginary part second. Okay, let's do some problems. Let's simplify and express the answer in standard form. So recall. We are adding two complex numbers. So when we do this, we're kind of breaking it up and saying, okay, we're going to add the real parts. So we're going to have 5 plus 6. And then we're going to add the imaginary parts. So -2i plus -i. So 5 plus 6 is 11. -2 plus -i is -3i. So you can either write that as 11 minus 3i or 11 plus -3i. It's the same thing, but standard form means the real part is first, the imaginary part is second. What about 3i plus -8 plus 5i? Now in this case, our first part, this is the same as having 0 plus 3i, right? The real part is missing, and so it's just a 0 plus the -8 plus 5i. So when you think of it that way, if we add our real parts, 0 plus -8, and then we put our imaginary parts, 3i plus 5i, we get a final answer of -8 plus 8i in standard form. And number 3, 1 plus 9i plus 6. So now in this second part, that's the same as 6 plus 0i. Our imaginary part is missing, so it's just a 0. So if I have 1 plus 9i plus 6 plus 0i, when I put my reals together, 1 plus 6, and then my imaginaries together, 9i plus 0i, I get a final answer of 7 plus 9i. So when you're adding complex numbers, it is very similar to just adding like terms, right? The imaginaries go together, the reals go together. Just make sure in all of the parts, anytime you have a negative, you keep that negative along. Don't drop a negative, that'll make you have trouble. But you're just combining like terms as you work through and simplify the problem.